Horror is a genre that thrives on the unknown, and sometimes, the scariest films are the ones that slip under the radar. While mainstream hits like The Conjuring and Hereditary dominate conversations, there exists a terrifying underworld of lesser-known horror gems that deserve recognition. These are films that might not have received blockbuster treatment, but have captivated audiences and critics alike. Here are 13 of the best horror movies you've never heard of, each one a chilling experience waiting to be discovered. 1. Lake Mungo, 2008. This Australian found-footage mockumentary follows the Palmer family as they cope with the tragic drowning of their daughter, Alice. However, as they begin to experience strange occurrences in their home, they enlist a psychic and uncover chilling secrets about Alice's hidden life. The film's documentary-style presentation, combined with eerily realistic performances, makes it feel disturbingly authentic. Director Joel Anderson crafts a masterful exploration of grief and supernatural mystery, using interviews, family videos, and cell phone footage to create a deeply unsettling narrative. The film's strength lies in its subtle approach to horror, building tension through quiet moments and devastating revelations rather than relying on jump scares. The way it handles themes of teenage isolation, family secrets, and the persistence of grief makes it a standout in the found footage genre. 2. The Poughkeepsie Tapes, 2007. Shot in a grainy, low-quality VHS aesthetic, The Poughkeepsie Tapes is a chilling deep dive into the mind of a sadistic serial killer. The film presents itself as a documentary, using discovered tapes that the killer recorded while stalking, torturing, and manipulating his victims. Director John Eric Dowdle creates a disturbing psychological study through a combination of mock interviews with law enforcement, forensic experts, and survivors. The film's power comes from its clinical approach to horror, treating its fictional material with documentary-like objectivity. What makes it particularly effective is how it uses the limitations of its found footage format to its advantage, allowing viewers' imaginations to fill in the gaps. The realism of the footage, combined with the methodical way the story unfolds, creates an experience that feels uncomfortably authentic. 3. Noroi, The Curse, 2005. This Japanese horror masterpiece follows journalist Masafumi Kobayashi as he investigates a series of seemingly unrelated supernatural occurrences across Japan. Director Koji Shiraishi weaves together various footage sources, from TV shows to home videos, to create a complex narrative that slowly reveals its terrifying scope. The film stands out for its intricate plotting and attention to detail, with seemingly minor events early in the film taking on horrifying significance as the story progresses. What makes Noroi particularly effective is its use of Japanese folklore and contemporary urban legends, blending traditional supernatural elements with modern documentary techniques. The film's patient approach to storytelling allows it to build an overwhelming sense of dread that culminates in one of the most memorable climaxes in found footage horror. 4. The Borderlands, 2013. When a team of Vatican investigators arrives at an ancient English church to investigate claims of miraculous events, they find themselves drawn into a nightmare that challenges both their faith and their survival instincts. Director Elliot Goldner creates a masterful slow-burn horror that uses its found footage format to explore themes of faith, skepticism, and ancient evil. The film's strength lies in its character development, particularly the relationship between its two main investigators, one a believer, the other a skeptic. The isolated rural setting and the ancient church location are used to maximum effect, creating a suffocating atmosphere of dread. The film's technical aspects, including its use of head-mounted cameras and careful sound design, contribute to its immersive horror experience, building to one of the most physically disturbing climaxes in recent horror cinema. 5. Session 9, 2001. Set in the imposing Danvers State Mental Hospital, this psychological horror film follows an asbestos removal crew as they navigate both the hazardous materials in their environment and the growing psychological tension among their team. Director Brad Anderson crafts a masterful study in atmospheric horror, using the real-life abandoned asylum to create a character unto itself. The film's brilliant sound design, incorporating haunting audio sessions from a former patient, adds layers of psychological complexity to the narrative. What sets Session 9 apart is its careful attention to character development and group dynamics, showing how isolation and pressure can break down relationships and sanity. The film's exploration of workplace stress, mental illness, and the weight of personal history creates a deeply unsettling experience that relies more on psychological dread than traditional scares. 6. The Dark and the Wicked, 2020. Brian Bertino's haunting film follows siblings Louise and Michael as they return to their family's isolated farm to care for their dying father and increasingly disturbed mother. The film masterfully builds tension through its isolated setting and the growing sense that something malevolent is targeting the family. What distinguishes this film is its unflinching approach to horror, presenting a relentlessly dark narrative that offers no easy answers or escape. The performances, particularly from Marin Ireland as Louise, bring a raw emotional reality to the supernatural horror. The film's exploration of family obligation, guilt, and the inevitability of death creates a deeply personal horror story that resonates beyond its supernatural elements. The atmospheric cinematography and careful pacing allow the horror to build naturally, creating a genuinely unsettling experience. 7. Angst, 1983. This Austrian horror film provides an uncomfortably intimate portrait of a recently released killer as he embarks on a new spree of violence. Director Gerald Cargill uses innovative cinematography, including body-mounted cameras and overhead shots, to create a uniquely disturbing perspective on its protagonist's actions. The film's power comes from its unflinching portrayal of violence and its psychological realism, inspired by real-life killer Werner Nieseck. What sets it apart from other films in the genre is its technical innovation and its commitment to psychological authenticity. The film's use of internal monologue and elaborate tracking shots creates an immersive experience that forces viewers to confront the banality and horror of real-world violence. The restoration and recent rediscovery of this film have cemented its place as a landmark in psychological horror. 8. The Autopsy of Jane Doe, 2016. Andre Ovredal's claustrophobic horror film follows father and son coroners Tommy and Austin Tilden as they perform a late-night autopsy on an unidentified young woman. What begins as a routine examination becomes increasingly bizarre as they discover impossibilities within the corpse. The film's strength lies in its confined setting and the growing tension between scientific rationality and inexplicable phenomena. The performances from Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch ground the supernatural elements in reality, while the methodical pacing allows the horror to build naturally. The film's unique approach to body horror, combined with its exploration of family dynamics and professional dedication, creates a fresh take on the genre. The technical accuracy of the autopsy scenes adds a layer of realism that makes the supernatural elements even more disturbing. 9. Possession, 1981. Andrei Zulawski's surrealist horror film follows the dissolution of a marriage that spirals into supernatural madness. Isabelle Adjani and Sam Neill deliver intense performances as Anna and Mark, a couple whose relationship breakdown manifests in increasingly bizarre and horrifying ways. The film's power comes from its ability to blend psychological drama with body horror and cosmic terror. Set against the backdrop of Cold War Berlin, the film uses its political context to enhance its themes of division and alienation. What sets Possession apart is its commitment to both emotional and physical extremes, featuring some of the most memorable and disturbing sequences in horror cinema. The film's exploration of marital discord, identity, and doppelgangers creates a unique viewing experience that defies easy categorization. 10. The Wailing, 2016. Na Hong-jin's epic horror film follows a rural Korean police officer investigating a mysterious illness that drives victims to violent madness. The film masterfully blends elements of police procedural, supernatural horror, and Korean folklore into a complex narrative that questions the nature of evil and faith. What distinguishes The Wailing is its careful balance of humor and horror, using its protagonist's initial bumbling nature to disarm viewers before plunging them into increasingly darker territory. The film's lengthy runtime allows for deep character development and complex plotting, while its gorgeous cinematography captures both the beauty and menace of its rural setting. The incorporation of traditional shamanic rituals and the clash between different belief systems adds cultural depth to its horror elements. 11. We're All Going to the World's Fair, 2021. Jane Skunbrun's unique take on internet horror follows Casey, a lonely teenager who becomes immersed in an online role-playing game that may or may not be causing real-world transformations. The film stands out for its authentic portrayal of internet culture and online identity, using the aesthetics of YouTube videos and webcam recordings to create a new kind of horror narrative. What makes it particularly effective is its ambiguous approach to its supernatural elements, leaving viewers uncertain whether they're watching a tale of supernatural transformation or psychological breakdown. The film's exploration of gender identity, online community, and digital isolation creates a thoroughly modern horror story that speaks to contemporary anxieties about internet culture and personal identity. 12. The Night House, 2021. David Bruckner's sophisticated ghost story stars Rebecca Hall as Beth, a recently widowed teacher who begins to uncover disturbing secrets about her late husband. The film's strength lies in its complex exploration of grief and its visual sophistication, using architectural space and optical illusions to create unique supernatural sequences. What sets it apart is its philosophical depth, tackling questions about the nature of reality, consciousness, and the afterlife while maintaining its horror elements. The film's sound design and cinematography create a unique sensory experience, while Hall's powerful performance grounds the supernatural elements in emotional reality. The way it handles themes of depression, suicide, and the nature of love creates a horror film that works on both intellectual and visceral levels. 13. Dead and Buried, 1981. Gary Sherman's unique horror film follows Sheriff Dan Gillis as he investigates a series of strange murders in the coastal town of Potter's Bluff, where victims seem to reappear alive and well after their deaths. The film stands out for its blend of different horror elements, combining aspects of zombie films, murder mysteries, and folk horror into a unique narrative. What makes it particularly effective is its careful world building and attention to the strange atmosphere of small-town life. The film's practical effects, created by Stan Winston, hold up remarkably well, while the performance from James Ferrantino as Sheriff Gillis provides a strong emotional center to the increasingly bizarre events. The film's exploration of community, identity, and the nature of death creates a unique entry in the horror genre that deserves wider recognition. Horror fans love to think they've seen it all, but the genre still holds plenty of surprises. Whether you prefer psychological slow burns, disturbing found footage, or folklore-infused nightmares, these 13 hidden gems will send shivers down your spine. Have you seen any of these films? Which obscure horror movies would you recommend? Let us know in the comments below.